Hello and welcome to my channel. What we have here is another great knife sent to me by Toby and family. And this one is a 3.5-inch fixed blade camp knife with fire starter. Extremus. It comes in this little cardboard and little cardboard package there. But what we have here is a nice green accent. I think it comes in like 3 different colors. There's green, there's a black one, and I think a red. I don't know, maybe blue. Now, I added this spongy thing to it because it has a split ring right here to hold this. And after a while, after using your ferro rod for a while, it would start getting smaller, but it's pretty substantial little ferro rod we got here. Let's measure his dimensions. I'd say a 1/4 inch. 0.31. So I was close. Let's get millimoids. About an 8mm ferro rod. 7.94. Pretty close. Get over there, you. But yeah, it's got a nice friction fit to it. You don't really need that, bungee cord thing, but it has a hole for it. And since I've got the stuff, that's about it for the sheath. It has a little button hole type of thing and a spring clip. It fits a web belt fairly well. This material is supposedly FRN, not Kydex. I'm just going off what the description says. It looks like you can remove this ferro rod and move it around, but if you look at the molding on it, it might not. You probably could reverse it over to this side if you wanted to. And that's about it for the sheath. It has fairly, positive retention, like a Mora. Speaking of which, comparing it to a Mora companion, it's very similar. The Mora fills out the hand a little bit more, but this one has a nice finger choil, and of course this one has more belly. All right, put that guy up over there. Now, this is not jimping. This is not jimping. Oh, I stepped on a chair and broke part of it. Because I got the camera set up differently, but it's got a nice Scandi grind on this one all the way down. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Focus on that. Focus right there. Yeah, but that's not jimping. You got a serrated edge up there. And this is, I looked it up, it's 7 CR17 MOB, which is basically 440A. If you know how 440A behaves, like most traditional pocket knives and stuff, you could still put your thumb here, but you're living on the edge, literally. Because if you slip forward, oh yeah, slice and dice. There is a ferro rod in here. Oh yeah, that's right. I was getting ready to twist this off. The ferro rod is on the thing right there. They say you can use the ferro rod. You can strike the ferro rod on the serrations to make it spark better. Do we need to do that? Yeah, probably. Who can pass up a chance to spark? All right, let me go get something. All right, I had to reposition the camera. All right, let's get this. First, we get the knife out. Set it over here. We're not going to set a big fire. We're just going to demonstrate some sparks. All right, now this hasn't been scraped yet, so usually the first time it won't do a lot with your first scrapes, but you never know. Nothing. I'm not so sure about using that. Yeah, I guess you can. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah. Burn, baby, burn. Alright. So yeah, it works. You can use the serrated part to spark it. I'm going to try to read from my notes that I took on it. So yeah, it comes in 3 colors. 7 CR17s, 3.5-inch blade, as we already said. It's called a TPR handle. So you have a kind of a semi-flexible, kind of rubbish combined with a harder plastic in there. The knife with the sheath and everything weighs 205 grams or 7.25 ounces. The knife alone weighs 121.5 grams or 4.25 ounces. 7CR17 is like 440A. It has a carbon content of 0.60 to 0.75 carbon. Manganese 1%, chromium 16 to 18%, and nickel 0.6%. So, that's what 7CR is, and that's what we have about this knife. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Fits the hand pretty well. It comes with this really day-glow orange. I think they call it chartreuse or something green, but it's more like neon green. I don't know how well that holds in there. It really only goes like this. It's not long enough to do the fit in your hand and loop it around and do all this. This will probably keep you from, like losing it if you're dropping it overboard ever. But just remember, whenever you do that, it's going to dangle a little bit. And me thinking about weird scenarios and everything, the only time I would think this would be bad is like, all right, you take the knife out and you put it around your hand because you're near a hill or a cliff or something like that, and you don't want to drop your knife. And then a badger comes up and bites you in the ankle, and you fall, and you're trying to fend him off, but your hand goes off, and you're rolling. And, of course, the knife, instead of falling away from you, it's stuck to you now. But it's not stuck in your hand, and you're flailing around and rolling. See how bad that can end up? So, and the other thing about a lanyard, if the badger thing doesn't happen, this one's probably more possible, is something this big can snag on stuff if you're walking around. Now, with a Kydex sheath or one of these, TPR or whatever they call it, sheaths, it's hopefully going to make enough noise to alert you, that you're going to feel it tug, that your knife is gone. That's the only thing I got to say about watching out for lanyards, other than the badger attacks and stuff like that on the hill. Yeah. All right. It could be a beaver also. It doesn't have to be badgers. I'm not necessarily picking on badgers, although they are pretty tough animals. Get back up there. He can't move. Something about ligaments. All right, so there you go. I've wasted enough of your time. Oh, one more thing. So, when I was talking about hobo armor. I was taking notes about hobos somewhere, but hobos are originally not bums or anything. It was like in the late 1800s when railroads and stuff started happening. People thought it's kind of an easy way of getting transportation out of somewhere and to go somewhere else and seek adventure. But they were migrant workers. They weren't bums. They did have bums. Those people would beg for stuff and everything else. They had a code of ethics. I took some screenshots of stuff I was researching on it and everything, looking it up. But yeah, and if you violated the code of ethics, the other hobos would take care of it. So when I'm playing around and I'm doing the hobo armor thing, it's not a slur on hobos or anything like that. It's just something silly, something that it's an old-timey. They basically, hobos still exist, but they're not like what it was. There's not as much rail hopping as it used to be. But when I'm talking about hobo armor, basic hobo armor is like one sheet of cardboard and everything. And almost anything can do a pretty good job on one sheet of cardboard. And I usually pull it back to about hip height and go forward. And I'm not thrusting real hard and everything. And that's standard hobo armor. Now, this may look like a metal can, but it's not. It's cardboard. You can see the seam there. And a cardboard tube, that's reinforced. This is what I call reinforced hobo armor. All right, so I don't know why I got into doing a piercing test on this and all the hobo stuff, but I did, and just trying to explain my madness. All right, so let's see how it does on this side. About the same. Fairly good penetration for a knife, you know. I mean, if you had your weight behind it and you were really thrusting real hard, you could probably shove it about halfway through there. But it might surprise you what a blade that looks like it would be really good for penetration isn't all that great when it meets up against something more than just one piece of cardboard. No, that's why I would normally take my piece of cardboard and double it. And I would look at it as like, this is at least simulating, you know, a layer of clothing or something like that. If it can't get through that. And then my silly stuff, silly hierarchy and everything, the lower echelon foot soldier hobos, they only get the cardboard. And the more, you know, advanced guys, they get the little bit better armor, you know, the reinforced armor. So there you go. But yeah, hobos are a real thing, and they existed. And yeah, I'll put up all the little code of ethics and everything. It's pretty interesting. I'll probably narrate through part of it. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed that and understand where some of my silliness comes from. Some of it is historical sometimes. Anyways, there you go. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.